So we are fresh out of the holiday season and into the new year, and that means new gaming PCs. I'm sure that there are quite a few of you who got brand new systems. Either you bought it for yourself or Santa brought it to you. And let me be the first to tell you, congratulations. I know just how awesome it is to get a brand new gaming PC, fire it up and see just how much better your games look on your new system versus your old system. Old system. You want to sell it to me? No, I'm kidding, but for real, there is a good chance that you can make quite a bit of money from your old system, so that's what we're going to focus on today. We are going to be trying to maximize the amount of money that you can make from your old system so that you can spend it on whatever you want. Now I gotta say, we are gonna cover quite a bit in this video, so I will put timestamps in the description down below so that if you're looking for something specific, you can kind of just jump right to that. Even though I'd love for you to watch the entire video because I have candy? Oh, that's how you get canceled right there. Now, no good video would be complete without visual aids. So joining us today is somebody's gaming PC. I'm gonna go grab it. I say somebody's gaming PC like the person who owns this thing doesn't work with me. Whew, that's a glare. Much better. So the gentleman who owns this gaming PC recently upgraded to a brand new system, and because of that, he wants to try and sell this system to get some money back, which makes sense because a brand new gaming system can cost a ton of money, and if you can get a little bit of a rebate by selling your old system, I think that's a pretty darn good thing. And there are a few things that we can do to potentially maximize the amount of attention your PC listing gets, which could lead to more money in your pocket for you to spend on, mouse, keyboard, headphones, monitor, anything. It's your money and you want it now. JG Wentworth, 877 cash now. God, I'm showing my age. You guys might think I'm reading off a script. I'm actually playing solitaire. I win. So for the specs of our guest here, inside of this box we have a Ryzen 5 3600, we have a B450 Tomahawk motherboard, 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance LPX RAM, and a RX 5700 XT, and I believe the power supply is a 650 watt power supply. He does have two 140 millimeter fans up front, and he has two additional 120 millimeter fans up at the top here. It's a very it's getting up there in years, but it's still a very capable gaming PC. We just got to get it to its next owner. Now, there are a few different ways that you can go about selling your PC. And the first way is you can just sell it as is. You can take decent pictures of it, post it online for whatever price you would like to receive for your PC, and hope that you find a buyer. But I will tell you that you're probably going to get minimal attention if the PC is dirty, because there's not a lot of people who are willing to spend $600, $700, $800 on a gaming PC that's full of dust. You gotta take it from me. I buy a ton of used PC hardware on Facebook Marketplace. I mean, you can go through the build-up challenge and see if you need confirmation. I buy tons of used hardware. And I will tell you right now, I come across a lot of listings where the PC or the hardware they're trying to sell is very dirty, and they're trying to get a lot of money for it because obviously people want the most for their items. But I will always lowball that individual because I don't want to have to clean up their dust. Dust is gross. And a lot of times when I do offer a very low amount of money for that item, I'll get the item. I score tons of crazy deals on dirty parts because nobody's messaging them about those items because they're dirty and they're tired of not getting messages and they're willing to sell it at a low price. The second way that you could go about things is to completely disassemble your gaming PC, clean every piece of it, and then reassemble it, not adding anything to it, but making sure that all of the components inside of your PC are clean. And it may sound crazy, but that could be the difference between $100, $200, $300 when you do find a buyer for your system. I know this because I tested this theory with a dirty PC that I found on Facebook. I bought it for, I believe, $500, and I was able to sell it for $700 just by cleaning it. Now, we could do option 1 or 2, but I prefer to take option 3. Upgrades. Not a ton of upgrades, but enough upgrades to help make the PC stand out. Now, our project here doesn't have much in the way of RGB, and that's because the owner of this PC doesn't really care for RGB, and that's 100% fine. Lots of people dislike RGB, but you can't argue with the fact that RGB helps sell computers. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to add a small amount of RGB to this system, as well as fully disassemble the PC and put it back together so that we can try and capture a little bit more attention on our listing. I'm going to try and make it look as brand new as I possibly can, so that way I can maximize the amount of money that somebody will spend on it. Now, first things first, we've got to disassemble our PC here. Now, if you have never disassembled a PC in your life, don't worry, it's not all that difficult. But what I would recommend is that you take photos along the way, so that way while you're putting the PC back together, you can reference those photos if you do get lost or forget how to plug something back in. Now, for today, to make everything just a little bit easier, I am going to speed up the footage of me disassembling this PC here, but please feel free to slow the footage down or pause it if you're trying to follow along. All right, so there's something that just happened that I'd love for us to all appreciate. I have been building computers for a very long time, and I have purchased so many secondhand PCs, and I've never seen this. And I've built plenty of personal computers, and I've never even thought of this. But putting all of the extra power supply cables in the bag that they usually come with, and then storing them inside the PC, what a genius move, honestly. So you know that you never lose them, and when you go to sell it, you're selling everything that the computer did come with. I'm pretty blown away. I'm gonna be doing this from this point forward. I never even thought about it. So right now is when you would wanna go ahead and decide how much cleaning is necessary for your system. But if you've already taken it apart, you might as well just go all the way trying to make this thing as clean as you possibly can. Now, me personally, I like to start with the case. And the reason I start with the case is because the case is very large and there's lots of places for like water and stuff to hide. Now, I throw my case into the tub or I hit it with the hose just to get everything off. It's not gonna hurt the PC case. You are just gonna need to make sure that when you do decide to put the entire computer back together, that the case is 100% clean, because you don't want any water dripping on your components. Something to keep in mind though is you do also want to remove the front I/O. When I say that, I mean the power switch, the USB 3, all that kind of stuff. You want to get rid of that. All you got to do is unscrew it. It's usually just a couple screws and it comes out, and put it to the side while you're cleaning your case. You don't really want to put that underwater. Now you could, and then just make sure it's dry, and it would probably be just fine. But just to be safe, take it out and then put it back in later. Now, if you don't listen to anything else that I say ever, please just listen to this part. The power supplies are extremely dangerous. Even if it's not plugged in, these can carry a charge that can stop your heart. And so they're very dangerous pieces of machinery, and I don't recommend anyone crack these things open. What I do to clean them is I'll take my air duster and I'll kind of just dust inside of here and get, you know, the surface layer of dust kind of dislodged and blown out, and then I'll wipe down the outside of the power supply with some isopropyl alcohol. But that is the extent of what I do to a power supply. If it is so gross inside of here that, you know, cockroaches have made a nest inside of it, throw it away
and buy a new one. It is not worth it to crack this thing open and potentially hurt yourself. Right now would be the right time to go ahead and remove your hard drive if that was something that you were planning on doing. Now, the reason I say that is a lot of people remove their old hard drives because it's got their data on it, and it's got all their information, everything they've done on their system is on that hard drive, so they like to take it out before they sell it. Now, you don't have to do that. You can go ahead and just wipe the system clean, as recovering that previous data is pretty difficult, and the typical person who's buying computers on Facebook Marketplace isn't really going to have the ability to access that information. But just to be on the safe side, I know that a lot of people pull those hard drives out. Now, I went ahead and bought a new hard drive. They're pretty inexpensive, $46 to keep your data safe. Just plug in a brand new 1 terabyte hard drive. The new owner can upgrade his hard drive or add additional storage if that's something that he wants to do in the future. But just to get him running, 1 terabyte hard drive for like $46, it's a worthwhile investment. Now, I did say earlier that we were going to be doing a small amount of upgrades to the system, and when I said small, I meant that. You're not trying to spend a ton of money on an old gaming PC. You're just trying to spend a small amount of money to increase the popularity of your listing so that you can sell the system a little bit faster and hopefully for a little bit more money. And to do that, I picked up some cable extensions. These are $20 for a pack of cable extensions to kind of add a little bit of like customization to it, make it look a little, stand out just a little bit more. And then I bought 3 ARGB fans. These are ring light fans. They are $12.99 for a pack of 3 of these fans, and these are really, really cool looking fans. The ring light will match the Sapphire Pulse logo on our graphics card. I think that when we get it all put together, it's gonna look really good. It's gonna look a little bit more eye-catching than it did when we first got the system. Now, as far as cleaning this computer goes, we are going to be giving it the full works. By the time we put this system back together, it should look brand new as it could possibly look. So we have a ton of work to do. Let's do it.
The timing of this video is actually pretty funny because not even 2 weeks ago, I said this. Well, I have been noticing that anytime I do a black and red build, that build will sit on the market for the longest time, getting like really close to no attention. And I don't know if you guys are experiencing a similar thing, but anytime I try to list a black and red PC, nobody seems to want to buy it. And now I've built a red and black PC. But regardless of the fact that it is red and black, I think that the upgrades that we put inside of this system are definitely going to help sell this PC, as the red LEDs on these fans actually match the LEDs on this graphics card really well. And I think that it just works. I think it's really, really nice. Just a thin layer of RGB on top of this really awesome looking build. I think that it's going to sell, and I think we're going to make a pretty decent amount of money from this system. Now, like I said earlier, you don't have to do any upgrades to your system. Simply taking it apart, cleaning it to the best of your abilities, and putting it back together should be enough. I only add a little bit of extras just to kind of spice it up a little bit, because I'd rather put in $38, which is what I spent on the fans and the cable extensions. I'd rather put that $38 inside of the PC to maybe get $100 extra when we do go to sell the computer. Now, you may have noticed that in the cleaning of the hardware for this PC, we didn't touch the graphics card at all. And the reason that I didn't touch the graphics card is because we did a test on that graphics card last week to see if we put new thermal pads and new thermal paste on this graphics card, if we could get extra performance from the card. And if you want to go take a look at that video, you can go ahead and click the card up above. It's a good watch. I enjoyed making that video. So once you've gone ahead and put your system back together, you're gonna want to stress test it a little bit. I mean, yeah, it is your PC. Yeah, you used it for a very long time, but you just took it apart and now you've put it back together. And you want to make sure that it is still operating as you want it to. And to do that, I usually download Firmark, because Firmark has a good GPU stress test as well as a decent CPU stress test. And I'll run those for about an hour just to make sure that everything is working properly. Now, just because you've stress tested your system and you've run some benchmarks and you know that the computer is working appropriately, that doesn't mean that we can't test some gameplay on it. I mean, even though it was your system, in the past, maybe we got better performance. Now, typically when I am listing a computer, I will test 3 or 4 different games. I will test a very difficult game for the PC to run. I will test something that is pretty decently hard for the computer to run, and then I will test something that's very easy for the system to run. So for today's testing, we ran Space Marine 2 at a medium preset, and this system was able to pump out 70 FPS. We also played Battlefield 2042 at medium settings for 94 FPS. That was our moderately difficult game to run. And for our easy game to run, I played Smite at max settings, getting an average of 149 FPS. And that 149 FPS, people see that, they eat that up. So now the fun part begins. And when I say that, I mean now is the time where we potentially get paid for the amount of work that we did. Now, I use Facebook Marketplace to sell all of my PCs, and you can use any other service you'd like, but just for this video, we're gonna talk about Facebook Marketplace. Now, Facebook Marketplace actually has quite a few things that you can do to capture more attention on your listing, and we're gonna cover that right now. So let me just grab my phone. So on screen right here, you are looking at the listing for this PC. Now, I always title my computers that I sell Awesome Gaming PC, Epic Gaming PC, something that catches your eye, something that you read and you're like, oh man, Awesome Gaming PC? I want to take advantage of that. Now, a price tag of $700 for this PC is a little bit high, but I priced it that high because I'm willing to accept any price over $600 for this system, but I put it at $700 so that maybe somebody who comes along and wants to, entertain the idea of buying this from me will not negotiate at all, which has happened tons of times. Now, don't be the person who has a Xeon processor and a 1060 and you put a list price of $1,000. We all think that you're a fool. Don't do that. Look at what people are selling systems for around your area, find something similar, and kind of gauge your price off that. Don't be crazy. Now, something that you really need to focus on are the photographs for your PC. It's your bread and butter. That's what's gonna make somebody want to purchase the system from you. And you're gonna wanna make sure that you take a video of the PC as well, because people love to see the system running. Me, myself, I like to take a video of the PC, and I like to show either gameplay and the FPS I'm getting in it, or a benchmarking software so that you can see just how many FPS we're getting from the system. It kind of helps the buyer understand that he's getting a a good quality PC. Honestly, this next tip, I really debated on whether or not I was gonna tell you guys, but since you're all subscribed to this channel, I mean, wait, you guys are all subscribed to this channel, right? If you're not, you just go down there and just hit that button. It's free, I promise, it's free. But since now you are all subscribed to this channel, I'll go ahead and tell you this. On Facebook Marketplace, when you post a listing, let's say you have 6 pictures and you're selling a computer, and 3 of those pictures are of the actual PC, but the other 3 are of like your task manager showing off each individual piece of hardware that you have inside. There's a chance that that is your main picture. Like a picture of task manager showing you that there's a 1060. That could be your main photo, not a picture of the PC. So I have completely stopped posting pictures of like, you know, hardware manager so that people can see what's in the computer. They're just gonna have to understand what's in it based off of what I've written. It's really funny that Facebook Marketplace doesn't let you choose the like display picture. They choose for you. So to combat that, what I've been doing is making sure that when I take a video, the video is from a little bit further back so that you can see the entire computer. And then when I take my photos, the photos also are of the entire computer. So that way, if Facebook Marketplace chooses, you know, one of my photos at random, it's always going to be choosing a photo that is showing off what I want customers to see. So now that we have our photos covered, we can move on to our description. And for our description today, I wrote, this is one powerful and clean gaming system that is ready for your desk. Don't miss your chance to take this home. Great gaming performance and a great price. It's pretty short and sweet. Very simple. It tells you that it's a gaming PC, it tells you that it's a powerful gaming PC, and that it's ready for them. I always include, you know, take this home, put it on your desk. It kind of makes the customer read that and think, man, it would look good on my desk. It gets them thinking about it as being a personal item to them rather than a personal item to me. Next up in line are the PC specs. I'm not gonna go over them right now with you because you know exactly what's inside of this PC. I did add in though that there is a Sound Blaster audio card, because there is. It's right there and it's coming with the PC, so might as well say that it's got awesome audio. After that, I will list a few games so that we can show them the average FPS that they could expect if they were to purchase the system. And right after that, I talk about how I'd like to be paid. I always say that I would rather do a cash deal, as you're not taxed on cash and I can deposit cash into the bank, but that doesn't mean that I don't accept other forms of payments. Now, a pro tip is work out the payment before you meet up, because nothing is more fun than standing in a parking lot with somebody wondering if their Zelle is going to connect to your account or not. It's just a really good time. Another thing that you want to definitely add in there is if you're willing to accept trades, or at least entertain the idea of a trade, because it's Facebook Marketplace. They are going to try and trade, you know, their PlayStation for your PC. But it's got extra controllers and 17 games. And the last thing I do is I try to reassure them that they can ask any questions that they would like. It's always good practice to make sure that you are available to answer any questions that a buyer has. They're probably gonna have a few, and you need to be, you know, receptive to that. Now, you don't need to follow every single one of the things that we've talked about today, even though I think the results speak for themselves. The PC to begin with wasn't terrible, but the PC now looks like it's brand new, and I can promise you I'm gonna get more money from a brand new looking system than I am from a system that's dirty and dusty. But, you know, you can pick and choose what you're comfortable with, your level of involvement in cleaning the PC. Like I said, you don't have to do anything to it. You could just go ahead and list it and hope for the best. You guys gotta remember, it is not advantageous for me to make this video. I buy a ton of secondhand PCs, so teaching you guys how to sell them for more money doesn't help me out at all. It just shows that I care about you. I want you to make a lot of money for yourself. And not only do I want you to make a lot of money for yourself, I also want you to know that no matter where you are in the world, I hope that you are having the most fantastic day. And I'm gonna see you right here for the next video.